Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Fast and Furious 6, starring Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Sun King, Gal Gadot, Luke Evans, and Gina Carano, directed by Justin Lin. Now I remember going to this in theaters with a friend, and what do I think of it? Well, let's get into it. We pick up with Dominic Toretto, returned by Vin Diesel, and Brian O'Connor, returned by Paul Walker, racing before Baby Jack O'Connor is born, which is a nice opening for a Fast and Furious film, as we recap some of the previous movies leading up to this one, which I did like the song choice in that sequence. I do like the song quite a bit. We go back to Luke Hobbs, returned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, in Moscow, recruiting Riley, played by Gina Carano, a badass MMA fighter, as they get a man that looks a hell of a lot like Dom, but it's not Dom, as he asks where Owen Shaw, played by Luke Evans, is at, as Hobbs kicks the living crap out of him, which was hilarious, and as they learn he's in London, as Hobbs gets Dom and his team to go after Owen because to get Letty, returned by Michelle Rodriguez, back in the family. But there's one catch. Letty doesn't remember him, so Dom is going to do his best to make her remember him, as I like this plot as Dom works on it this entire movie. Hobbs wants Dom's team to be involved, like Brian, Roman Pierce, returned by Tyrese Gibson, Tej Parker, returned by Chris Ludacris Bridges, Han, returned by Sun King, and Giselle, returned by Gal Gadot, to go after Owen, but he wants Mia, returned by Jordana Brewster, to stay home while taking care of Baby Jack. Which makes sense, and this whole movie focuses on getting Owen and bringing back Letty, and Hobbs and Riley in London, as it'll lead to an entertaining movie. Hobbs explains the story behind Owen and his crew, and I did find hilarious when Roman tries to get some photo chips, and potato chips, excuse me, not photo chips, and Hobbs shoots the vending machine and says it's on the house, as they want to get Letty in trade for Owen, as they go after Owen and his team, with the guy Hobbs beat up earlier and is in shock after betraying Owen, and Dom and his team gonna get in fast cars to go after Owen, and his team, and they blow up a parking garage, which did feel like some Michael frickin' Bay crap. Just the way it's shot just made me think this is of those Transformers films. And that chase scene is ridiculous, sure, but after part 5, everything in these movies are getting more and more ridiculous, as the bad guys put chips in to mess with the good guys' cars. But it doesn't fool Brian, as a blonde lady named Vig, I don't know if I'm saying that right, makes Brian crash, which makes it entertainment, which makes it a fun, entertaining time at best, as Dom finds Letty driving with Owen, and they both stop as Dom tries to make her remember, and Letty shoots at Dom and hits him in the chest, well, on the shoulder mostly, and it is ridiculous for entertainment reasons, but I'm having fun with it. Dom and his team lick their wounds after the beatdown they just had, while Roman brings up their evil twins, which is pretty funny, as they talk about what they learned from meeting them for the first time, as Han, Roman, Giselle, and Riley go after Owen's men, and Tej and Hobbs find some fast cars and humiliates the salesman, after the salesman says to them they're not ballers, and Tej buys the cars from him, and they take his shirt, pants, and watch, which was pretty damn funny. Meanwhile, Owen finds out Letty had a history with Dom, as she doesn't remember him. Giselle and Riley come in to Owen's shop, as Giselle says he's a man, and talks to him as he flirts with them, while Roman and Han watches them work on getting information from the man who bought the cars, and the way Riley takes him down and puts him in a pain, and he signals Owen by calling him, is just funny, as he signals Owen by calling him and sends some men to go after Giselle and Riley. And as they arrive, Roman and Han go after one of the bad guys, like a ninja, I'll say, after one is shot and gets their asses handed to them as he gets away, where Riley goes after Letty and they beat the crap out of each other until Letty pushes Riley to the stairs and gets away, as well as Dom and Brian go to a pawn shop to find out Letty bought a bullet and knocks down the pawn shop owner, and that piece of evidence is good but rather badly edited around. But I do like the Riley versus Letty action. It's just the Roman and Han versus Ninja, let's call him, is rather badly shot, as the camera shook quite a bit during those action scenes, and I really wish the cameraman didn't shake the camera around during the action scenes, as it's a headache after a while. Letty slowly thinks Owen is out of his mind, as it does take her a while as she gets some fresh air after the beatdown she sort of had, and Dom and his team learn Braga, returned by John Ortiz briefly, from the fourth film, is involved with Owen, as Brian goes to the Los Angeles prison to pay Braga a visit, despite he's a wanted man in America, which is a risky choice, but I do know why Brian does it, and that is to get more information from Braga about Owen. As he arrives in Los Angeles to the prison, he beats up the same guy he gave a bruised nose to in the fourth film, which was rather hysterical with a nice callback, while Roman shoots the shark gun at the wall, which did make me laugh. And look, we all know this movie is bad, but the question is it fun? And the answer is yes. Braga visits Brian in his cell and tells him about how Letty survived the car crash in the fourth film, and Owen took her in with no memory, and it does explain quite a lot, as I get the impression this movie is the explanation of what happened in the previous movies. It's like previously on Fast and Furious. Like later on, they'll explain what happened to Han in the third film, and I'll get there. Brian beats up on Braga and his two guards, as he tells Brian, "You get near Owen when he gets near you," which is a villain cliche in general. And I found it rather stupid because Owen is no ghost, based on what will happen at the end of the movie. Letty goes to a racetrack, and so does Dom, as they race each other, and after they finish the race with Dom winning, Letty talks with Dom, and Dom works on refreshing her memory about how they met and when they were kids in high school, and how she got the scars she was while he was the show-off in the street race, which is a nice exposition on how they know each other, as we know a little more about the characters. And Dom gives away the neck cross thing because it belongs to her. Owen arrives and talks with Dom for a bit about how Dom will take Letty away from him, as Dom knows everything about Letty until Owen puts a target on Dom, like Dom puts a target on Owen with Hobbs, which was kind of clever, but Hobbs puts a tracking device on Dom, which is again clever. Brian gets out of prison with what he learned from Braga and goes back to London, while Owen asks Letty a question, as he makes her think very hard about the answer of when she has to take out Dom, as she makes Owen keep the neck thing, which will set up the ending as well as the next movie that didn't make much sense. Hobbs and Riley spy fingerprints from their movements, and Hobbs goes after Owen in a different location, which will get Dom and his team to go after Owen in the army base with Letty with them, as they lead a chase against a tank, which is the best action scene in this whole movie, as Letty thinks Owen is crazy and decides to betray him, which was rightfully earned, but when Dom jumps out of the car and grabs Letty, it looked obviously fake and unrealistic. But other than that, I like the carnage in that scene. The army get a deadly chip from Owen, and Dom and Brian protect Letty from going to prison while they have Owen, and he tells everyone Mia is captured without Elena and the baby, and this is getting too revenge movie cliche, and Owen demands to be loose with the chip, with no one following them, as they do with Riley joining up with Owen as they take off, as Dom and his team do go after Owen in an airplane, as Dom, Letty, and Brian go in the airplane after Letty, while the other guys shoot the shark tank on the wings. Hobbs climbs up on the plane and Dom goes after Owen. Brian gets Mia and Hobbs, who eventually comes in a fight with the giant on Owen's team, whom I never got his name either, after he fights Brian. And Dom, as Brian, gets Mia out of the plane with the female blonde, is crashed and killed while going after Brian and Letty. Kills Riley off the plane with the shotgun, and Hobbs kills the giant with Dom's help, and Dom stops Owen from getting out and leaves him in the truck to get hospitalized, and Brian hits the other wing on the plane, and they do take it down, and as Han tries to hang on while Owen's men almost kills Han, as Giselle sacrifices herself and dies as Han kills Owen, last man alive, and they pull the plane down, and Han throws the last man on the engine, and Dom and Letty and Hobbs jump off the airplane, and they destroy it for good, and they think Dom is dead at first, but he makes it out alive with the chip. And that last action scene was probably the weakest final battle in a Fast and Furious movie, because this one fell all over the place. Dom requests Hobbs to move back to America, that they move back to America and the house in Los Angeles, as the team have a barbecue, as Elena goes back to Brazil, becomes Hobbs' partner, and they have a nice happy barbecue with Letty still can't remember everything and being free, as the credits rolled to a during the credits scene during a scene from Tokyo Drift where Han dies, but we get to know who kills him, and that happens to be Owen's brother Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham. And I'll talk about the next time, but he was the one who killed Han and gives Dom a call, how he'll know Deckard Shaw. And the climax was sort of all over the place, but I do like Jason Statham's brief cameo until the next movie. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 6.9 out of 10. The action was fun, as this movie was entertaining at best, and I do like these characters returning, including Letty. Some action scenes, though, did get ridiculous after a while, but hell, this is a Fast and Furious movie, as they're supposed to be ridiculous, and the plot worked quickly very well. There were times the movie did some things that were fake and unrealistic, but again, this movie was a lot of fun. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Furious 7. And until next time, let's race.